Violet Evergarden. Violet starts as an emotionless tool of war, someone who only knew how to follow orders, and over time, she learns how to connect with people through empathy, love, and words. What makes her special is that she doesn't just change herself, she changes others. Every letter she writes, every person she helps, is touched in a way that stays with them forever. And fans fell in love with watching her slowly grow from a weapon into a woman who deeply understands the human heart. What makes Violet shine as a waifu isn't just one moment, it's the way her entire journey unfolds. From the very beginning, Violet's love for Gilbert is both heartbreaking and inspiring. Even after the war, she dedicates her entire existence to understanding the meaning of his final words, "I love you." And that loyalty alone shows the depth of her heart. She's elegance, tragedy, and healing all wrapped in one. She pours herself into writing letters that change lives, such as helping a dying mother leave words of love for her daughter, and offering closure to countless people who couldn't express their own feelings. And while she heals others, the once emotionless soldier slowly learns to cry, to smile, and to finally understand what it means to love and be loved. Zerotwo. With her striking pink hair, devilish horns, and that signature mischievous smirk, Zerotwo is the ultimate bad girl with a heart of gold package. She's wild, rebellious, and completely unapologetic about who she is. From the second she calls Hiro Daddy, you know it's over. Fans were locked in for the ride, but what makes her special isn't just the seductive confidence. It's the vulnerability underneath. She's part human, part Klaxosaur, constantly treated like a monster. All she wants is to be loved for who she is. When it comes to unforgettable waifu moments, Zerotwo has more than her fair share. From the very first time she meets Hiro, she doesn't introduce herself politely. Nah, she licks his cheek like a feral cat and declares him her darling. That's not love at first sight, that's predatory waifu energy, and yet somehow it worked. The first time they pilot together, the connection is so intense, it's like the universe itself shipped them. And every time she calls Hiro darling, it either melts your heart or makes you jealous that you don't have a pink-haired horned menace calling you that. But what really makes her top-tier waifu material is her loyalty. Zerotwo doesn't just fight alongside Hiro, she's ready to throw hands with the government, her squad, or literally aliens if it means protecting him. Sure, she's chaotic and sometimes terrifying, but underneath all that wild energy is a girl who just wants to be loved after a life of being treated like a monster. Makise Kurisu. This one is my personal favorite. She's a teenage prodigy in neuroscience who got caught up with a mad scientist that is obsessed with time travel. She's sharp, sarcastic, and has zero patience for Okaba's mad scientist antics. But ironically, she's also the one who keeps him grounded when the story starts ripping reality apart with time travel. Makise Kurisu nails the perfect balance of intelligence and vulnerability. On the surface, she's a snarky tsundere who fires back at every one of Okaba's ridiculous lines. But peel back a layer, she's caring and surprisingly awkward when it comes to emotions. That's what makes her so relatable. She's not some untouchable genius. She's a brilliant young woman figuring herself out while saving the world. Fans love her because she feels real. She's not idealized perfection. She's a character with quirks, flaws, and depth. Kurisu's greatness shows in both the lab and the heart. She's the one who perfects the time travel theory and helps Okabe turn a microwave into a literal time machine. But when the timelines start collapsing and Okabe is drowning in despair, she's the one who pulls him back up. Her pep talks aren't sugar-coated. She gives him the logical reality, but she also gives him hope. Even when Kurisu herself learns she might have to die for the timeline to stabilize, she faces it with courage. And of course, her confession scene in Akihabara is legendary. The sarcastic scientist finally admits her feelings in a raw and vulnerable way. Asuna Yuki. If you've watched Sword Art Online, then you already know why Asuna is often called one of the OG modern waifus. She's the perfect mix of sweet, badass, and loyal, and she's been breaking hearts and saving Kirito's butt since 2012. She isn't just a damsel waiting for the hero. She's a frontline warrior. Known as the Lightning Flash, she's fast, skilled, and has the respect of everyone in Sword Art Online. But beyond the combat, it's her kindness and unwavering devotion that made her the dream girl for so many fans. One of her traits? She can switch from slicing monsters in half to cooking a heartwarming meal for her friends. Asuna shines in so many moments throughout Sword Art Online. From the very start, she proves she's more than eye candy by charging into floor boss fights and saving Kirito when he needs it most, showing she's a partner, rather than a sidekick. Even in the fairy dance arc, where she's trapped in Alfheim and stripped of her power, she never loses hope and fights in her own way to escape captivity. On the softer side, we see her motherly instincts kick in when she and Kirito adopt Yui, instantly embracing the little girl like her own daughter, and it's heart-melting to watch. And of course, her relationship with Kirito remains one of anime's most iconic romances, and they grow together in a way that feels surprisingly real for an isekai fantasy. Mahiru Shiina. If you've watched The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, then you already know why Mahiru Shiina quickly became one of the most talked about modern waifus. She's the definition of too perfect to be real, beautiful, graceful, and at the top of her class. But underneath that angelic image is a girl who just wants to be loved for who she really is. When she meets her neighbor Amane, instead of brushing him off, she decides to help him out, cooking his meals, cleaning his messy apartment, and slowly becoming his comfort. What makes her so beloved is that she's not just a one-dimensional perfect girl. She's vulnerable, caring, and shows that even the angel next door has her own struggles. She can switch from being the flawless angel everyone admires at school to the sweet, nurturing girl who quietly supports Amane's growth at home. Mahiru has plenty of moments that made fans fall head over heels. Cooking Amane delicious home-cooked meals? Check. Gently pushing him to take better care of himself and believe in his own worth? Check. But the best moments are when her polished, perfect mask slips and we see her blush, get jealous, or act shy around Amane. Those little cracks in her angelic armor are what truly make her unforgettable. Rem isn't just a waifu. She's the patron saint of waifus. She starts off as this polite, soft-spoken maid with a smile so pure you'd think she couldn't hurt a fly. And then she literally turns into a demon and brutally murders Subaru in one of the timelines. Yeah, she's got that cutie patootie but will also axe you in half energy, and that contrast is exactly what makes her so iconic. But after knowing Subaru's true intentions are pure, she channels her anger and hatred into absolute devotion. When Subaru is at his worst, crying, broken, literally useless in every way, Rem doesn't just pat him on the back, she lifts him up with one of the greatest Enume speeches of all time, reminding him that even if he feels worthless, to her, he's perfect. She not only gave him a motivational speech, she confessed her love to Subaru. She pours her whole heart out, saying she'd happily live a simple life with Subaru, start a family and grow old together. And what does Subaru do? He rejects her. That single moment made the whole anime community stood up and said, Rem deserved better. She's loyal, strong, terrifying when she needs to be, and still chooses to love Subaru even when he doesn't return it. Wait, who is Rem? Erza Scarlet. Known as Titania, the queen of fairies, Erza isn't just one of the strongest mages in the guild, she's the one who carries scars from a broken childhood, and still managed to become a woman of unshakable strength and compassion. Erza isn't perfect, she's strict, intimidating, even scary sometimes, but beneath the armor is someone who desperately wants to protect the family she found in Fairy Tale. After losing everything as a child, the guild gave her a home, and she pours her entire being into keeping it safe. Fans love her because she's not just strong on the battlefield, she's strong in the way she holds her friends together. Erza represents resilience, loyalty, and the ability to still believe in bonds after living through betrayal and loss. But what makes Erza a good waifu isn't just her flashy battles. What makes her unforgettable is how much heart she shows in the quieter moments. She's the girl who cries over her tragic past, but still stands tall for her friends. She's the one who, despite her own trauma, reaches out with love and forgiveness, even to Jello, the man tied to her pain, because she sees the good in him when no one else will. And then there are the little things. Her love for strawberry cake, her awkward attempts at showing affection, her rare but warm smiles. It's those moments of vulnerability that hit fans the hardest. Rei Ayanami. When people think of Neon Genesis Evangelion, Rei Ayanami's pale face and crimson eyes are often the first image that comes to mind. She's quiet, distant, and almost alien in how she carries herself. She embodies mystery and a quiet strength that draws fans in. She's the type of character who makes you want to understand her, and at the same time, you're left haunted by her existence. A fleeting smile, a subtle act of kindness, or a moment of hesitation. These cracks in her stoic mask are what make her unforgettable. She resonates deeply with people who see in her the quiet suffering and loneliness that so many people carry. One of the most touching moments was when she sacrifices herself to save Shinji, smiling for the first time before her Eva detonates. It's not just her bravery, but the fact that she finally shows a spark of emotion that makes it unforgettable. Another key moment is her quiet tenderness toward Shinji when no one else reaches out to him. Then there's the reveal of her true nature, that she's a clone tied to Yui, Ikari, and Lilith, her very existence fragile and uncertain. Even knowing she's replaceable, she still chooses to care, to smile, to live as Rei Ayanami, not just a clone. That struggle for identity makes her both tragic and deeply admirable.